Hi, I'm Janicia and welcome to my channel. So today I am making a feast. It's really a meal, but I just think feast sounds better. So I'm making it for my parents because they are in town and my dad really was craving some curry goat. So I thought it would be kind to make him something that he really enjoys. And since he rarely eats meat, well, him and my mom, they rarely eat meat, it was actually a really good treat for them and they really enjoyed it. So today I made a curry goat, rice and peas. When you hear me say peas, it's really kidney beans, but for some reason Caribbean people call it peas. So just keep that in mind, okay? Steamed cabbage, and I was missing some sweet plantains. But anyways, and I also made a baked ziti on the side, and it was mainly for my children. When I am making curry goat, I usually season my meat a day or two before and I keep it in the refrigerator. I season my meat with curry seasoning from the market. I usually get this, I think it's a Jamaican brand called Caribbean Rhythm, and I use that along with a curry from my local farmers market, which is an Indian curry. I like the flavor that both of them bring together. And so what I do first in my Instant Pot, I usually saute my onions and a little bit of garlic first, and then I add my goat meat to be sauteed for a little bit. And I just turn that periodically and just, make sure that it's brown in the meat just a little bit. And then I usually cut up all of my carrots and then I add it to the pot as well. I am just chopping up my carrots into pretty big pieces, and that's because I like to have a little bit of bite. And then I'm adding in 1 cup of water, which I felt was a bit too much. I am also cutting up some ginger right now. I honestly should have just grated down my ginger, but I didn't feel like using my grater at the time, so I just chopped them up into some pieces and put them in the Instant Pot as well. And I'm gonna mix everything in, and then I'm gonna cover my Instant Pot, and I'm going to pressure cook this for 40 minutes. But I think looking back in hindsight, I should have cooked this at about 30 minutes. And while that is going, I am now going to make my rice and peas. It's peas, guys, okay? It's peas, not beans. So, in the rice and peas, I learned how to make rice and peas from my mother in law, and she taught me how to make it on the stovetop. But I've been using my Instant Pot, and you're gonna see that I should have just did it on the stovetop. But I'm just mixing in my rice and my beans, and I usually do about equal amounts of liquid to equal amounts of rice. And I'm just adding in some seasons, some garlic in here, and some salt to give it a good flavor. And then I am going to cook this in the Instant Pot. Sometimes I do 4 minutes and then let it just pressure release on its own, or sometimes I cook it for 15 minutes. But my Instant Pot usually does not do well unless I use only 6 cups of rice. If I do any more, it gives me the burn signal. So what I did was I just mixed everything up and I just kept it on warm so it kind of steamed the rice. So the rice didn't come out as great, but next time I'll just use the stovetop. Sometimes old school is just better. So when the curry goat is finished cooking for the first time, I usually add in, well, I should have added my herbs in before, but I kind of forgot. So now I'm just adding in my potatoes and I'm going to stir it again and I'm going to cook it again for another 10 minutes. And this is why I said I should have actually cooked it initially for about 30 minutes, because when I cooked it for longer, it made my meat a little bit too soft. My dad requested that he wanted it soft, and because I was used to buying my curry goat from my regular farmer's market, their pieces are a lot bigger. And these pieces I got from Costco, and these pieces were they were smaller. And so it took less time to cook, and I didn't take that into account. So my meat came out a little bit too soft for my liking, but either way, it still tastes pretty good. So right now I am making my baked ziti. And the baked ziti is mostly for my children, and I just cut up some vegetables to put inside of it rather than meat this time. So I'm just using broccoli, mushrooms, and onions. And what I usually do is cook my pasta, and then when the pasta is finished cooking, I cool it down, and then I add some marinara sauce to it. I stir it around, mix it up, and I put that aside while I work on everything else. And that's because I only have one really great burner on my stove right now. One of my burner, it's having a moment. So I saute my vegetables before I put it to bake. And we really love broccoli in my house. That's, I think, one of our favorite vegetables. I added mushrooms to this and I saute it. And then when that's finished being a little bit more tender, then I add in my broccoli. After my vegetables are to the tenderness that I like, I am going to season with salt and pepper, and then I'm going to add my marinara sauce. So as you can see, I am using salad cheese, a salad cheese blend inside with my ricotta cheese. And that's because I thought I had Parmesan cheese, which I did have in my refrigerator, but it was spoiled. We had it there for too long. So I just improvised and it still came out good. So I'm just gonna mix my ricotta and my Parmesan cheese blend with my pasta, and I'm gonna roughly mix that together. And when that is complete, I'm going to layer everything and end it off with cheese. So in the process of layering my ziti, I realized that my Pyrex dish was too shallow. I needed a deeper dish, and since I don't have a deeper baking dish, all I had was a Pyrex. We're gonna make it work. We're just gonna stuff everything in there and just hope for the best. So it still came out fine, so I am not complaining, but I need to keep in mind that I need to get a deeper dish because this Pyrex dish is not going to work anymore. I am going to bake my ziti at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. And my goat meat is finished. It's a little bit more tender and falling way too much off the bones for my liking, but it still tasted yummy, and that's what matters, right? The taste of it, yeah. So now I'm moving on to making a steamed cabbage. I don't know about you guys, but my parents and even myself, and this is the way how I grew up, we always ate most of our vegetables, mostly kind of plain, just salt and pepper. We don't really like too much going on with our vegetables. We actually like to taste the vegetable. So with my steamed cabbage, I'm just adding salt and pepper and just a bit of chicken. I think it was chicken stock I had this day, but chicken broth or chicken stock, either one. I am putting in just for some flavor, and sometimes I add a tomato just to give it more flavor. I also am using a vegetable mix that I found the organic version at BJ's, and so that's what I'm using, and that's what I've seen most Caribbean people use, and that's what I've grown up eating. So that's what I'm using, and the cabbage came out really good to me, and it complemented this dish really well, and I love cabbage. We don't get to see my parents very often, and I am happy that they came by. And this was a way for me to personally honor them. And that's because sometimes I love to show my love for people through food. And so this was just my way personally, just one of the ways that I can do it. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.